Hey guys, it is Wingy here and welcome to another episode of Ranking Doctor Who, the series where I take Doctor Who or bits and pieces of Doctor Who and I rank it, but in this one it's going to be slightly different. I am talking about the companions, however I'm talking about all of the companions, so if I did this in the usual way it'd be a 5-day long video. So I've got this tier list here, as you can see, and I'm going to be ranking the companions this way. As you can see as well, I've already taken the liberty of putting in certain companions already at the bottom section which is not seen or heard enough of them. So this is particularly relevant for the Big Finish companions. I am going through the Big Finish stuff, but I haven't heard some of these companions. I've also included Sarah Kingdom and Katarina because their stories don't exist and I don't feel it would be right to judge them based off of just hearing the story. I feel like I'd have to see it, whereas all the others here, I've seen them. I've seen multiple stories of them, if not all of them, more or less. It is all of them usually, so yeah. So let's get into it. So we'll do it in order. So we'll start off here then with Adam, who of course appears in Dalek and then appears in the Long Game. Now, I know that he went on to appear later in the comics and stuff, and I like what they did with him, but for me, he's going to have to be an F. He's a bit of a waste of space, really. Adric, now this is a companion that I feel is underrated, and I do feel gets unfairly hated, but at the same time I can only go up to C. I don't think I can put him higher than that. I think he is actually pretty good with Tom, but with Davison maybe not so much. Then we go on to Amy Pond, the first new series companion in this list, because clearly it's not in order. So Amy Pond here then, where do I put her? See, the problem with Amy is I actually quite like Amy early on, but I feel she's one of those companions who outstayed her welcome, so I'm gonna go with B. I don't think she's terrible, but I don't think she's like top tier. So yeah, that's fair enough. Barbara then. Now Barbara, again, I'm probably gonna go into sort of the B category. I wouldn't say that she's like a top tier Doctor Who companion, but she's pretty good. She's obviously one of the first Doctor Who companions, so that's pretty noteworthy, but I wouldn't necessarily say she's one of my favourites. Ben then. So Ben, I'm gonna have to go straight into D for that one. I don't think he's one of the worst Doctor Who companions ever, but I do feel like he is a little bit pointless. Whenever I've spoken about some of his stories in the Troughton era or even the Hartnell era, I often find myself saying Ben didn't really do a lot. Even in his last story, The Faceless Ones, he doesn't really do anything of note. Power of the Daleks, he has a couple of nice moments. Macra Terror, he's got a couple of things going on, but he's not one of my favourites, I must admit. So, Bill Potts, obviously Peter Capaldi's second companion, or second proper companion. I'm not entirely sure, you know, because I do feel like after Clara she was a breath of fresh air, but at the same time, well, she did only have one series. I don't think she offered too much. I think she was okay, she was nice for what she was, but I can't really say that she's better than some of the other ones. So even though it looks like I'm putting her alongside Adric, like I said, I do think he's better than a lot of people give him credit for, so I'll put Bill there. Brigadier, right, straight away, this is going straight up to S. There we go, into S, which I'm imagining is like supreme or something, or star. I have no idea what it actually means. Someone will probably tell me in the comments, but the Brigadier, one of the best Doctor Who characters of all time. I absolutely love him. There's nowhere else I could put him. Is he technically a companion though? Because he doesn't actually travel with the Doctor. Captain Jack, again, this is another straight into S. I think Captain Jack is one of the, maybe it means shit, I hope it doesn't mean shit, but Captain Jack here, as you can see alongside the Brigadier, he's got to be there. He's arguably the best companion or character from the new series. He's got his own spin-off, Torchwood, which is incredible. I think the only argument you could level at Jack here is, again, is he really a companion? Because I think people like Jack because of his appearances in Torchwood. Yes, he was great in Doctor Who, but did he appear enough in Doctor Who to warrant him being there? I don't care. Barrowman's awesome, Jack's awesome, gotta be there. Now, Charlie Pollard. This is the one Big Finish companion where I have listened to a fair chunk of the stories now. All the others that you can see down there at the bottom, like this guy and Evelyn and well, there's Sheridan Smith and all these different characters, I don't really know them all that well, whereas Charlie I actually do, and I do actually quite like her, and from what I've heard so far, I'm going to put her in B. I want to see where her story goes. Obviously I've not got up to stories like The Chimes of Midnight in my reviews, which a lot of people tell me is like one of the best Doctor Who stories ever, so we'll just have to see, but for now she's going there, but that may change in the future. So then, is that Dodo? That's Dodo, isn't it? Yeah. F. I don't really think she does anything of note in any of her stories. Donna, again, that's another S, straight up to the top there next to Jack, which she'd absolutely love. Donna is my favourite modern era companion. She really, really is. I know I said that Jack is one of the best characters, but in terms of like out and out companion, it's Donna. And I think with Catherine Tate being known primarily for comedy, she does a really good job at the serious stuff. Series 4 is one of the best series in the modern era, and part of the reason for that is because of Catherine Tate. So there's no way why I couldn't put her there. So Grace, as you can see here, again, I mean, I know that she appears later with Big Finish and stuff, but at the same time, do we really get enough of her to warrant that high? I mean, I like Grace. I feel like F would be unfair, so I'm not going to put her here. I'll put her in D, because I do actually quite like her, but we don't see enough of her. Then we come to Graham, of course, played by Bradley Walsh, part of the latest TARDIS team. Well, I mean, he's not now, but he was part of the latest TARDIS team, or at least the most recent TARDIS team. Again, D, like, you guys know if you watch my channel, I don't like the Chris Chibnall, Jodie Whittaker era. I really don't, and I think the companions especially are really, really weak. Graham is probably the best out of all of them, but that's probably because I like Bradley Walsh, and that's the most I can say about him, to be honest. D, no higher. Harry Sullivan. Now, Harry is the companion throughout season 12 and for bits of 13 as well. Now, that is one of my favourite seasons. Well, they are two of my most favourite seasons. They are probably my top 2 Doctor Who seasons. So there is no way that I can put Harry really low down. However, I'm not going to go with S, I'm going to go with A, because for me, as much as I like Harry, he is a little bit expendable, and even though pretty much every story he's in is a story that I like, I don't think it's because of him. Yes, he's part of my favourite TARDIS team, but I think he's just a stroke below some of the others. Ian, of course, again, one of the original companions, and straight away, same with Barbara, I'm going to put him in B. Again, not one of my favourites, but he's not one of the worst ones by a long stretch, and he's noteworthy for being one of the original companions, and he's played brilliantly by William Russell, so B it is. Jamie McCrimmon, as played by Fraser Hines. Now, again, I wouldn't say that Jamie's necessarily one of my favourite companions. I do love Jamie, but similar to Harry, I think I'm going to have to put him just in A, mostly because I feel like he's just a stroke under some of my favourite companions of all time. So I'll just leave him there for now. But speaking of some of my favourite companions of all time, here we have Jo Grant, played by the wonderful Katie Manning. Straight into S you go. Do I need to explain that? Like, Jo is one of the best. She's 100% one of the best companions ever. And her dynamic with Pertwee, I think, is one of the strongest Doctor-companion relationships. There's nowhere else she could go in this list for me. Sergeant Benton, now my favourite non-Brigadier character out of the unit family. Again, is he noteworthy enough to be really high up on these lists? I don't know. I'll go with B, I think, because B for Benton. I do really like Benton, and I think it'd be a bit unfair to rank him lower than this, because I do prefer him to the characters that are below him right here. So yeah, that's where he goes. I'm happy with that. Now K9, I think K9 is probably going to go in B as well. I do love K9, but he is annoying. Like, he is a bit pointless, and especially when I get older, I see why people on the production staff didn't like him. I see why he appeals to kids. From a plot point of view, K9 is the easy option. However, he is a wonderful little creation, and I do love him, but he has his flaws. Chameleon, F. It's similar to K9 in terms of what they were trying to do, but it failed massively. The actual prop of Chameleon, I think, is awful, and none of his stories are great. F is generous for Chameleon, if I'm honest. Leela goes into S, one of the best companions in the entire show. I love that she's a savage, and I love that it's sort of like this teacher-student dynamic with her and Tom. I wish she stayed longer. Her exit is bullshit, but she's still one of the best Doctor Who companions in my humble opinion. Now Liz Shaw, this one for me is a tricky one, because I really like Liz Shaw, but I'm gonna have to just put her in B. And the reason why I'm putting her in B, or I have to get rid of that. The reason why I put her in B is simply because she's only in one series. If there was more of her, she'd probably be higher up, but that's as high as I can give her right now. But she was a real breath of fresh air for the start of the Pertwee era, and I really enjoy her character. Martha Jones, now again, one of the more noteworthy companions in the modern era, I'd say. However, for me personally, where do I put her? It hurts to say because I do enjoy Martha, but I'm going to put her in C. And the reason why I put her in C is because I feel like her story arc as a character throughout Series 3 was totally wasted. And I feel like she could have been so much more, but she's just sort of pining after the Doctor. That's not getting reciprocated, and that really bogs down Series 3, which overall is a series that at the time I enjoyed. With hindsight, I don't all that much. Martha's a great companion though, don't get it twisted, but she's not one of those characters or companions that I'm in a hurry to see again. Bonnie Langford as Mel, that's going into D. Like, I know that it's been expanded upon in Big Finish and stuff like that, but for me, she's not really my cup of tea really. She's not terrible, she's not awful, but that's really where I can put her. Mickey, Noel Clarke, again, we'll go with B. We'll go with B. I really like Mickey as a character, and I think what's saving Mickey especially here is the fact that his character really grew throughout the course of the series, and you know, going from this really cowardly, weak character to this brave soldier-esque type character. Like, I really enjoyed that, and I really like Mickey's dynamic with Rose and how he eventually is just like, yeah, you know what, like, I'm done with you, I'm gonna live my own life. I really enjoy that, and I like his dynamic with both Eccleston and Tennant. Captain Yates. Now, this is going to be a controversial one, I'm sure. He's going in F. I really don't like Captain Yates. I don't know what it is. I just do not enjoy his character. Now, I find him just a bit of a smug prick, to be honest. And obviously later on he gets a bit of character development with stuff like Invasion of the Dinosaurs. But out of the unit family, I really do not care for him. Right, Nardole. Obviously, again, a Peter Capaldi companion. I enjoyed Nardole, but I'm going to go with D. I think he was better than I expected. I did quite like some of the dialogue and the banter that he had with Peter Capaldi, but I don't think he was a top tier companion. I think he was just there for the sake of it in some regards. But I mean, I really like Matt Lucas. Nardole, again, it feels harsh, but I don't think Nardole was shit. I did enjoy him. He was better than I expected. But after his first performance in, was it the Husbands of River Song? That would have been an F. But he surprised me a little bit. So we'll go with that. Nissa's going to go in D as well. Nyssa is wasted potential, plain and simply. Like, I think she has really good elements to her. I like the fact that she's clever, and I like the fact that she can hold her own in terms of a battle of wits with the Doctor, but plain and simply, she's boring. They wasted the whole thing with her dad being taken over by the Master as well. Like, that's one of the most genius ways of making a Doctor Who companion, and they fucked it. Okay, so Peri, I'm going to go with A. I really like Peri. I think she's one of my favourite companions. She's one of the most underrated companions. Nicola Bryant is lovely in real life as well. And yeah, I mean, I think the problem with Peri is that sometimes she's overshadowed by some of the negative things in the Colin Baker era, and her accent is totally not necessary, but she's actually a very good companion. A very good companion. Okay, so Polly, I'm going to go with C. Similar to Ben, but I think she's slightly better than Ben. She's a little bit pointless in certain stories, and she's not really necessary in certain stories, but I enjoy her performance, and yeah, she's just a sort of mid-tier Doctor Who companion if you ask me. River Song, do you know, I'll say C. I was going to go D, but at the same time, like, River does have her positives. It's just I'm not massively keen on her sometimes. I find her annoying, and I find her reveal of who she really is a major letdown. But she does have her moments. Some of my favourite episodes do involve River. So yeah, I'm not saying that she's shit, I'm not saying that she's amazing, she's just sort of middle of the road. The first Romana, played by Mary Tam, I'm going to have to go with C again for that one. Like, I like her, but I don't love her. I think definitely Lalla Ward, who we may as well rank now, she's an A. Again, one of my favourite Doctor Who companions. Again, lovely woman in real life. I just enjoy her Romana more than Mary Tam's, unfortunately for Mary Tam. Then we come to Rory. I'm going to go with C again for Rory, because I feel like Series 5, similar to what I've said about some of the others, a bit wasted potential. He gets better as the series goes on, but not as good as Amy. He's a stroke below Amy, I would say, so that's why he's in C, but I do like him. Rose is going to go straight into C as well, and the reason why Rose is going into C is purely for Series 2. If we're talking just Series 1, Rose is probably in A, but because of the whole romance bullshit with the Doctor, which I hate, as you guys probably know, she's not going higher than that. Right, Ryan Tosin Cole, F. I don't like him. I think he's incredibly boring. I think he has the potential to be a great companion, but he never was. He's just a one-note, one-dimensional character who is totally forgettable to the point where I nearly forgot his name. Sarah Jane Smith, any guesses as where she's going? That's right, she's going up here with Leela and all the others here. Sarah Jane is my favourite Doctor Who companion. I love her. I love the Sarah Jane adventures. She's one of the main reasons why I am a Doctor Who fan, because of her appearance in School Reunion. She's in my favourites. I mean, the picture here, as you can see, is from The Hand of Fear, my favourite story, which is where she leaves, which is ironic. Either way, top tier Doctor Who companion, no arguments. She's going straight up there. Stephen, again, similar to some of the others, I'm gonna say D, just because, again, not because he's bad, because he is a good companion, but at the same time, it is what it is. I don't think he's that memorable or noteworthy to me. With Susan, I'm gonna go with C. I think Susan's okay. I think she's definition of mid-tier. She's the first companion, she's a relative of the Doctor, so we believe, but she keeps breaking her ankle and she is a bit whiny and annoying and you don't really care when she leaves. So it is what it is. Tegan is gonna go in F, unfortunately. I did used to really like Tegan. I really did. But lately she has massively gone down in my estimations and I just don't enjoy her as much. I find her annoying, I find her grating. I love her exit, her proper exit, not her first one in Time Flight. A lot of the Davison eras feel the same, where she feels pointless and yet she feels annoying at the same time and doesn't really offer all that much. So one of my least favourites, I've got to say. Turlough, again, I'm going to have to go in F, purely because I think he's wasted potential and I find him really boring. I don't really have anything positive to say about Turlough as a character, apart from the Black Guardian stuff is interesting at first, then gets really tedious and boring, and then that's Vicky, is it? Yeah. Again, just doesn't really do it for me. Not in a rush to revisit any of the stories. Then we come to Victoria, who I actually really like, so I'm going to put Victoria in B. I don't think she's the best Patrick Troughton companion. I think she's pretty good, but not amazing. She has some beautiful moments with Troughton, particularly in Tomb of the Side of Men, but I can't put her any higher than that because I don't prefer her to some of the other companions in A and S. Yaz, F. Same with Ryan, same sort of reasoning. A really wasted potential character. Like, she's a police officer, you wouldn't fucking know it. Like all the companions in Jodie's era, they just stand around and agree with each other. It's boring, it's dull, she's not interesting. Maybe now that she's by herself with the Doctor, for a bit at least, maybe then something will come up that's a bit noteworthy about her, but right now there's nothing about Yaz that stands out as anything other than really fucking dull. Ace is definitely going up in S. Everybody loves Ace. I love Ace. I think her and Sylvester is one of the best Doctor companion relationships. I really enjoy her character development and her character growth. She really is the template for the modern era. Clara, where the fuck do you think? She's going in F. I don't know why she's gone in ahead of Yaz there, but either way. So with Clara, I don't feel like I need to explain this one. Like, she is my least favourite companion out of all of them. I'm not going to go into too much detail about Clara because I have spoken about her, like I say, a number of times before. And I have got a review of Series 9 coming up, which I'm going to have to talk about Clara again, for which I apologise, but it is what it is. Clara, F tier, should be lower, should be a U, but there we are. And then we come to the final companion, which, as you can see, is Zoe, played by the lovely Wendy Padbury, who again I have met a couple of times at this stage. And it's a bit difficult, you know, I was thinking, is she my favourite Troughton companion? And I don't think she is. I think she's on a par with Jamie though, I've got to admit, and since she's on a par with Jamie, I'm going to move her up here to A, because she's my favourite type of companion in a way, you know, she's intelligent, she can hold her own with the Doctor, and she's also sweet and she's funny at the same time with certain moments, and she's in some of my favourite Troughton stories. She's part of one of my favourite, well, probably my favourite TARDIS team of the 1960s, so absolutely she's got to be there. But as you can see, this is the list from S, which I'm imagining is superior or supreme, like I said, I don't know. Unless it means shit, which means I've just ranked all these as shit, which is quite awkward. Let me know what you think, basically. Do you agree with my choices? You probably won't, but I will leave a link to this in the description below so you can give it a go if you want. Also, if you enjoyed this video, then make sure you leave a like on it, subscribe for more. Social media and Patreon links will be in the description as always, so if you'd follow me on any of those things, I'd absolutely love you forever. But till next time guys, you take care of yourselves, have fun having a go at me in the comments because I've put someone in the wrong place. Bye.